Have you ever walked through a forest and just felt how quiet and peaceful it is? Well, what if I told you it's not silent at all? What if there's a massive conversation happening just right under our feet in a language we can't hear? That's what we're diving into today. Do trees actually talk to each other?
I mean, seriously, just imagine it. An internet that's not made of cables and fiber optics, but of living, breathing fungi, connecting an entire forest. It sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel, right? But this is based on some really fascinating science. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Wood Wide Web.
All right, so how in the world does this organic internet actually work? To really get it, we've got to look down, way, way down. Let's start uncovering this secret network that's running the show right under our feet.
You know, when we look at a tree, we see the big, obvious parts. The trunk, the branches, the leaves. But so much of the most important stuff, the real action, isn't happening up where we can see it. The real story is unfolding underground in the super complex, bustling world of roots. And at the absolute heart of this whole underground system is this incredible partnership. It's a team-up, a symbiotic alliance between two totally different forms of life, plants and fungi. So the official scientific name for this thing is the mycorrhizal network. And really, you can just think of it as this gigantic, super intricate web. It's made of these ultra-fine fungal threads. They're called hyphae, and they're what link all the different root systems of the plants together. And what you're seeing here are the two main ways this connection actually happens. On the one hand, sometimes the fungi create this sort of sheath that just wraps around the root cells. But in other cases, they get way more intimate and actually go inside the cells themselves. Either way, the end result is this powerful, direct connection for exchanging, well, stuff. So what's the deal? What are they exchanging? Honestly, it boils down to a pretty simple barter. The trees, they're great at making sugar through photosynthesis, right? So they trade that sugar to the fungi. And in return, the fungi act like these expert miners, digging through the soil, pulling out crucial nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen, and feeding them right back to the tree. It's a win-win.
And get this isn't some rare, special thing that only a few plants do. No way. This partnership is absolutely fundamental to life on this planet. Over 80% of all land plants form these incredible fungal partnerships. That makes it one of the most common and important relationships in nature, period.
Okay, so we've got this massive network for trading food. That's already pretty cool. But here's where it gets mind-blowing. It's not just a food exchange. This becomes a true forest-wide web, where actual information can flow from tree to tree.
The science behind this is just awesome. Back in the 90s, an ecologist named Suzanne Simard ran this landmark experiment. It was so clever. She labeled different trees with unique versions of carbon. You can think of them like chemical fingerprints. And then she just watched. And she saw those exact fingerprints travel from one tree through that fungal network and pop up in a totally different tree nearby. This was the first solid proof that this was really happening. It completely changed how we see forests, not as a bunch of individual trees competing, but as this deeply interconnected community. And we're talking about more than just carbon. Through this web, trees can send all sorts of things. They can shuttle nutrients to little seedlings that are struggling to get started. They can share water during a drought. And maybe the most amazing thing, they can send out chemical warning signals to tell their neighbors, hey, there's an insect attack over here, get your defenses ready.
Now, as you can imagine, this incredible science has really captured people's imaginations, and that's led to some really powerful ideas that aren't always quite right. So let's take a minute and just separate the scientific facts from some of the popular fiction that's out there.
First big one, this idea that trees are conscious, that they're thinking and intentionally deciding to help out their buddies. The reality is a little more, well, biochemical. There's just no evidence for consciousness. What really happens is that a stressed tree releases certain chemicals, and its neighbors are basically eavesdropping on those signals through the network, which then kicks their own defense systems into gear. It's more of a reaction than a decision.
Okay, myth number 2. The entire forest is plugged into one giant universal web. That's a bit of an oversimplification. In reality, these networks are much more fragmented. A better way to think about it is like a bunch of local group chats instead of one global server. Whether two trees are connected depends on the exact type of fungus, the soil, how far apart they are, lots of factors.
And finally, what about the mother tree that rules the whole forest? Well, it's true that older, larger trees are absolutely crucial hubs. They support a lot of the younger seedlings around them. But it's not a hierarchy, not like a queen and her subjects. The real key here is interdependence. Nature isn't really about building power structures, it's about building balance. So it's less of a ruler and more of a really important, supportive anchor for the community.
So now that we've cleared up some of those myths, where is all this research headed? Well, we are just now entering this incredible new era of trying to decode this organic internet.
And the technology being used is just wild. Scientists are using imaging robots to literally watch nutrients moving through these tiny fungal threads in real time. And it gets even more sci-fi. There are projects like one called iWood that are building robo-roots to simulate how these networks function. The whole point is to learn from nature's incredible design and maybe, just maybe, build our own intelligent systems inspired by it.
And really, this is where we are right now. We've finally got the tools to put this hidden world under a magnifying glass, and we've learned so much. But for everything we've uncovered, you get the sense that we are just scratching the surface. We're at the very beginning of decoding this ancient, incredibly complex system of communication.
It just leaves you wondering, right? If all of this is happening in our forests, what other secret conversations, what other hidden networks are thriving in the soil right below us, just waiting for us to figure out how to listen?